Hands together for the CEO of Challenge, Mr. David Rogers.
CEO of Challenge. And more than 20 years ago, I asked a group of ladies, thank you, to help Challenge support mums who were living with cancer. This group became known as the Women for Challenge Committee. It was my hope that these women would bring together a night like tonight and help fund new support programs and services that we were looking at developing over the time. 20 years on, this event is now known as Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend Gala Dinner. And has raised in excess of $5 million profit. I would like to thank all the amazing women who have driven this event's success, in particular the three chairwomen, Sarah Foster, Anna Toman, or Anna Higgins as I like to call her, and Danielle Bleasby. To the current committee, my sincere thanks, and to all of you out there, my hope is that you enjoy tonight, and I hope you make a difference. And without further ado, these are our hope stories.
For those that don't know me, my name's Kerry Wood. I'm the Challenge Monash Children's Hospital and Family Support Coordinator. I'm also a mum to 4 beautiful children, one of them being a childhood cancer survivor. My daughter Olivia was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in 2002, and I'm blessed to share that Olivia is healthy, 25-year-old young lady still chasing her dreams. And she's actually in the room volunteering somewhere tonight. I have met many families over many years at Challenge, both at the Royal Children's and Monash Children's Hospitals, helping to support them through the various programs and services that Challenge provides. Having walked the trek that is childhood cancer myself, I have been afforded the gift of experience, which certainly allows me to empathise with families and the many emotions they endure from diagnosis and beyond. This year's Diamond Gala theme is about hope. By definition, hope is a wish, a desire or feeling for something that is good that you want to happen in the future. But to me, it's more than that. Hope is a power we hold on to when we are faced with despair and the fog of uncertainty. Hope is the light when there is only seems to be darkness. Sometimes we need to be brave enough to see it. This is my role at Challenge, to help our families find their strength so that they can see there is hope, love, and much needed support all around them. That's my wish, my hope story.
Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm married to a wonderful man also called Sam. Unintentional. And I am the mother of 2 amazing little boys, Benji and Noah. And at the age of 7, my eldest Noah was diagnosed with stage 4 anaplastic large cell lymphoma. In early 2019, after discovering what I thought was a pretty insignificant lump on Noah's collarbone, we were called in to see an oncologist at Monash Cancer Centre. Cancer wasn't a stranger to my family. I'd lost my brother to cancer many years ago. After telling my mum of our discovery, she urged me to see a doctor. I remember almost laughing at her and saying, "Don't be ridiculous, kids don't get cancer." But as the weeks passed and this mysterious lump began to take over his shoulder, what I thought was the impossible became my reality. As I walked into the cancer centre, my phone rang, and it was our GP. He said, "Oh, hey, Sam, I just want to see how you're going. How did that x-ray go?" And I said, "We're walking into the cancer centre right now." And he had a big sign, said, "Great. Hopefully we can work out what that giant mass on his lung is." The thing is, I didn't know what he was talking about. I can't explain to you exactly how that felt, but the closest I can describe it to is drowning. I knew it was coming and I couldn't swim, and I was hoping someone would come and save me. Exactly 2 minutes after that call, I locked eyes with Kerry. I was trying not to breathe because I knew that I would cry, and if you know me, I hate crying in public, and this is the worst platform to do that in. And even though there was so much going on around me, I felt like everything was in slow motion. Kerry was making coffee, and as she looked at me, I knew that she knew. Because that's the thing as a cancer parent, you only know if you know. And I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. Luckily for me, Kerry knew. What we feared the most that day was confirmed, and that was that Noah had cancer. He was covered in tumours from his head to his toes. It's much worse than we thought, said our doctor. My husband fainted. Is he going to die, I asked. He looked at me dead in the eyes and said, not today, but we need to start tonight. We were taken to a room to sign consent papers about an hour later, mountains of them. Hearing loss, heart failure, infertility, necrosis of the kidneys, and so on and so on. But we had no choice. We handed our baby boy over to strangers we had just met, and I just hoped they knew what they were doing. In the coming days, Noah would cry and wet the bed any time a doctor came into the room. One night he yelled at me, "Just let me die, Mum. I don't mind. I'll respawn. I'll come back as a sausage dog." We have sausage dogs. And if you've got little boys, that's a Minecraft thing. I'll respawn. The Sam I knew left my body that day. I felt like I'd failed. Why had I not made his body strong enough to deal with this? We endured 19 months of treatment, and it was hard. But what I learned is that pain endured alone was a lot heavier than pain shared. Every Thursday for our weekly chemo, Kerry made me a coffee and sat with me, and sometimes we spoke about Noah, sometimes we spoke about the weather, clothes, kids, it didn't matter. She told me about her daughter, her journey, and suddenly I felt understood. I have a million friends, but it's just not the same. You just don't know unless you know. I'm happy to say Noah is now cancer-free. And will reach a milestone of 1 year in May. He's smart, he's funny, he's bloody testing. He thinks he's a famous YouTuber. But most of all, he's my hero. We were lucky enough to spend a week at the Challenge property, Wilson's Retreat in Blairgowrie, which was a perfect way to end his treatment. Noah's diagnosis challenged me in unimaginable ways, which I could not have done without people like Kerry in my life. Kerry gave me hope that things would one day get better, and this is a hope I carry for all the families I have met since our journey began. Some did not get the happy ending we got. I was putting Noah to bed the other night, and in his little old man voice, he looked at me and he said, "Thanks, Mum." And I looked at him and I said, "What did I do?" He looked at me in the eyes and he said, "You made having cancer not so bad." So tonight I say the same thing to Kerry. Thank you, and thank you to Challenge. From the bottom of my heart, you made having cancer not so bad.
Good evening. My name is Tanya McKenna, and I'm the music therapist at Challenge. Music therapy can provide normality, enjoyment, and hope for children with cancer and their families. The work that I do really depends on each child's needs and their interests. I've worked with children to develop their motor skills. I've worked with children to develop their speech and language skills. I've also worked with children to express their emotions and to relax using music. I first met Amelia earlier this year, and immediately it was really evident to me that she had a real passion for music and a real innate musical ability. When Amelia dances and moves to music and sings, her energy and enthusiasm is infectious. Music therapy for Amelia is about choice and control, enjoyment and self-expression. It is a joy to work with Amelia, and it is a privilege to work with many of the families at Challenge. This is my hope story.
Firstly, let me say how honoured I am to be standing up here in front of a room full of so many incredible women. My name is Nadia, and I am so lucky that I have 3 beautiful little humans that call me mum every single day. But last year in May, I was given the news that no parent ever wants to hear, and that was that my 3-year-old daughter Amelia has leukemia. And instantly I thought that there may come a day where I may never hear her call me mum ever again. And that broke me in ways more than I can even explain. With every day that has followed since her diagnosis, hope is the one thing that gets me through. I hope for her to stay in remission. I hope that her chemotherapy continues to work. I hope for so many things for her future, and most importantly, I hope she continues to kick cancer's ass every single day. All the things I hope for her and her future are the things that drive me to keep fighting along with her and to do everything in my power to make sure that she comes out the other side happier, stronger, and healthier than ever. There's my baby girl. The one thing that has hurt us the most over the last 10 months has been keeping Amelia home day after day and not being able to attend her favourite place in the whole entire world, which is daycare. And that's where the magic of Tanya comes in. When Tanya first contacted me and was able to offer her first in-home appointment with us, I cannot tell you the happiness that it brought to me. Amelia spent so much time in the hospital last year, and the one thing that brought her happiness was music therapy. It was the one thing that she would ask for every single day, and it was the one thing that allowed her, even if it was just for a short while, to forget about cancer altogether. And that's what Tanya does for us. Tanya brings hope. She brings excitement into our home, and she puts a smile on Amelia's face that I can't quite explain. She also has been so welcoming to my 2-year-old son Marcello, who loves to join in and play music along with his big sister. I can see that for the time that Tanya is with us, Amelia forgets that she's stuck at home day in and day out, and she feels like she's back at daycare doing all the things that all the other kids get to do every day. For that time, she's not sick. She's simply a kid having the time of her life with her amazing music therapist. They sing, they learn new songs, they play so many different instruments, and Amelia does what she does best. And if you know Amelia, she dances like no one's watching. When your child is diagnosed with cancer, everything changes and everything hurts. The first few months are so overwhelming, and you find yourself searching for things that you can do to bring a sense of normalcy back into your world that is now upside down. And that's what Challenge has done for us. They are the escape that we so desperately need. From music and art therapy to stays at their holiday homes, family outings, tickets to different events, Challenge provide exactly what families like ours need to feel normal again. My hope for the future is that every child who is diagnosed with cancer is lucky enough to be supported by the wonderful people at Challenge, and that each and every one of them are able to feel the pure happiness that Amelia feels every single time Tanya enters the room. This is my hope story.
Sadly, our art therapist Karen Griffin is unwell and wasn't able to be here tonight. Karen did, however, provide me with these words. Karen first met Sophia at the start of 2019. Sophia was a little unsure of her at first because she had had a tough time in the hospital and had met so many unfamiliar people. But she quickly warmed to Karen when she pulled out all her art supplies, and Sophia knew she could feel safe experimenting and exploring the art therapy sessions. Karen could tell that Sophia had a natural affinity with creativity through how she used the art to express herself. Sophia would laugh as they made slime and painted galaxies. Karen saw Sophia on and off for several months through the ups and downs of her illness. She'll always remember Sophia for her strong spirit and confidence, and feels grateful that she was able to spend a small part of her life with her.
Hello, my name is Alix, and I have two beautiful girls, Luciana and Sofia. When Sofia was in hospital, the doctors discovered she had a rare cancer, one not too many children in the world had. We did what a caring human being will do, have a treatment and continue to live the best we could. At hospital, as a family, we had the support from Challenge. Olivia was always there to play with Sophie when I couldn't. She even organized a couple of massages for me, whenever and wherever they could be done. That's what they do. After 2 months, we left hospital, knowing we have to go back 6 times for treatment, but without knowing what was coming at home. But again, we had challenge. Karen was an angel coming to our house and doing art with Sophia for the longest 6 months in our lives. And we still got to see Olivia when we went back to hospital. They were very special moments for Sophia, as she is an artist. That is all she wanted to be. Sophia stopped doing a lot of things during her treatment, but never stopped painting and playing. I still remember the weekly art therapy that Sophia was happy to take, and the time I will do my gardening, as she was happy and busy. Karen and Olivia got to live moments with our family that were precious, and for that, I will thank them forever. They were there for Sophia, and even for her sister, during school holidays with some art, and when it was most needed. Once Sophia finished her treatment, again, Challenge was there offering tickets to an AFL game, that's when I met David, a basketball game, and a holiday house at Mornington. All I can tell you is that those places will stay in our memories, and we will be grateful forever, because the thing that we enjoy the most as a family is going to different places together. Sophia also received a music scholarship with Challenge, and she started violin lessons. You do not realize how important it is to have all this support until it is offered to you. It is like there is always an option that Challenge have there for you in all the stages of this process. I am sure that they know what you need and are there just ready to offer it to you. Because you don't think about it. It doesn't come to your mind. You are busy trying to understand life and forget to live. But luckily, they are there to remind you to keep living. When Sophia finished her treatment, being 7 years old, she said, "Never in my life I'm doing this again." If you knew Sophia, she knew what she wanted. So when she got sick again, we knew it was time to let her go back home in peace. She is not physically with us today, and luckily, she left in the best way she could go, at home in her sleep on the 7th of June 2020. Again, Challenge keep being with us. In 2021, we went to another Challenge beautiful place, Melon's Place at Lake's entrance, where we had beautiful moments and enjoyed our connection with the spiritual world. We saw dolphins, seals, and the Bacan caves. We also went to Turkey with my family, and I went to the Mother's Retreat. Every time we go to any of these places, we feel that connection with Sophie. We know she's there with us. She is and will always be with us, and believe me when I tell you that she's here today, in her beautiful new form, the best legacy she left us is her art. A group of Norwegian artists and my niece created a website for her. It is called sophiaforever.com, where you can find her art and the song they made for her. And I really have to mention this, but in the new series Bridgerton, if you have seen it in Netflix, Season 2, Episode 4, her song is there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My name is Danielle. I joined the Women for Challenge committee in 2013, and I've been chair since 2018. As we move through 2022, we continue to maintain hope. The Women for Challenge committee have worked hard on this event for more than 2 years, with reschedule after reschedule. We present this incredible event which raises vital funds for mothers and families dealing with the emotional, financial, and physical impact of their child's cancer diagnosis. You, the women in this room, have stuck with us, and we thank you. We need each other for support, and we give each other hope. I hold so much hope for the future of Challenge. With the COVID-19 pandemic sweeping the globe, Challenge was impacted in many ways. It was required to adapt to its programs and services to meet new guidelines and restrictions. The new normal became an online, virtual world. But this meant that Challenge reached a whole new audience, both national and regional. This was one positive to come out of COVID in an extremely difficult time. Challenge found hope. The paper cranes that decorate your tables are a symbol of hope. They were made by Challenge kids, mums and volunteers. Over the past 10 years, Challenge has been steadfastly working on a new, purposely built retreat. The Nicholas Timms retreat will be the jewel in Challenge's crown. Set on 4 acres of land, the architecture of this property is unique in that it has 2 houses that connect in the one central area, allowing 2 families to stay at the same time. It features open fires, private and shared living spaces, and a home cinema. There will be a large paddock surrounding the retreat, which will house animals and a chicken coop. This is our hope story.